I don't want to get in between this because I'm just going to be very, very practical here.
Why? Who's not being practical? Throw us a subscribe, a review, whatever you want. It
How many
helps out.
subscribers do we have now?
Let's keep that in-house. You would clearly enjoy the Biggie concert more than the Prince concert.
Easily. You'd walk out of the Prince show, you'd be like, I should have fucking picked him.
All right, we're going to talk about flip-flopping. We're going to talk about this kid Matt here.
What did I do?
You know what you
I'm a
did.
pillar of consistency.
This is a trash brand. Come on. You could do better. This is a Grizzly. Cornfeld to watch it.
That's what we're doing. And we're back. And we're live. This is the first
Hello.
time we're doing it live. Welcome back to the Memo, everybody. Our first live stream ever. We've been trying to get this going for almost over an hour. But we wouldn't have it any other way here on the Memo because, you know, that's just how things go. They don't run smoothly, and we get it done anyway.
Yeah, it's a good thing I came in with my technical expertise and fixed it.
Yeah, otherwise we really would have been lost.
So we're not even a minute into the live show. We're just going to start lying to the audience. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But I hope you all
on the right foot.
Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. NFL Week 1. I'm sure all of you had a wonderful time, unless you're like us Jets fans, having a terrible time. But that's every year, so it's nothing new. But as always, you got the four hosts. You have top left, Alex Masados. Bottom left, Yigal Harari. Bottom right, Matthew Brodsky. And on the top right is myself, Richard Lyons. We are very excited to get started today, finally, at almost 11 p.m. We're going to do our hometown report, some Jets and Giants stuff. We're going to do a little overreaction stuff. You know, it is overreaction week after week 1. Everyone knows it. You hear it all over. And we're going to be no different than everybody else. And then we're going to give our week 2 picks. We have a little thing we got to announce with that, something with the fans that we didn't announce last week, but we started it. We're going to let you all know about that, and maybe you'll be the lucky fan to get picked for the next slate of picks. So,
teaser. Where are we with punishments on that, by the way? We get anywhere this week?
No, we have not. We've not gotten anywhere with the punishments. Hold on, I want to turn my air off. But I think we should reach out to the fans, see what they have to say about the punishments. Maybe they can give us some good ideas. You don't think so?
I think it's a good idea.
Then let's do it.
I think you should get a nice spanking when you're wrong. How about that?
Ooh.
Kinky.
Okay, so.
No, you go for it.
You want to get started with the hometown report?
Let's do it.
Sorry, I really wasn't paying attention to anything you just said to me because I was.
You'll find out. You'll find out. No. You'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Element of surprise. It's even better.
All right. So, our first official hometown report after a game, because everything else was preseason and little prediction for the upcoming week. What a surprise! Both teams lost in.
I, for one, am shocked.
Pretty convincing fashion they lost. Didn't look like either team really had a shot. Maybe you could argue the Jets had a little, glimmer of hope there, but both teams pretty much dominated beginning to end, looking like the same teams as always.
They picked up right where they left off.
Yes.
Is what we can say about the New York Jets and New York Giants.
Consistency.
Yeah, me and Yigal were going hard at it back and forth during that game. He was upset because
I've never seen anything like it.
He was upset because
I didn't hear about this.
I was anytime Christian McCaffrey did something well, I was, understandably like, yes, let's go. And Yigal would scream at me and be like, are you kidding me? You're rooting for them? And I was like, when someone else does something, I won't care. When my first overall pick in fantasy gets 30 yards, I'm going to cheer. So then
it's your team.
Hey, no, they're not Mr. Innocent over here. After that, in the second quarter, Yigal said the season was over and he won't even watch next week.
Right, because everyone who watched the first half of that football game was literally on the same page as me. And then
living up to his name as a big-time headliner. Yigal won't be happy to hear.
Just if anyone doesn't know,
I picked the Panthers in my survivor pool, so
So another Jet fan rooting against
some
the
fraud
Jets.
Jet fans.
Alex is a fake Jets fan. Let's just get that
Oh,
out.
I'm just tired of the pain.
Listen, you got to have a little pain. That's what makes the winning so cool, man.
What winning?
The winning when we're going to win, it's gonna feel a lot better.
It was just so funny seeing how pissed Egal was about Richard rooting for McCaffrey to turn around and just say everything is over in the second quarter of the first game of the season. And then he did turn it around. We can talk about the game a little bit. He got by the time that the game actually ended, Egal, I believe you had said that they gave you just enough for you to want to tune in next week. Is that correct?
Yeah. They gave me just enough. You
know,
I wish
feeling Zach Wilson for MVP.
No, listen, it's a rookie. You know, he really looked rough in the first half, but that's also has to do with the offensive line. They really just struggled. Injuries everywhere, defense, offensive line. Anywhere you look, everyone's just injured. So, but in the second half, everyone seemed relaxed, like it felt like the coaches made the right adjustments at halftime and they came out and, they played a pretty good half, second half, they won that half 14-3. Sure. They weren't, Carolina may have not been trying all that much because they were just up 16-0. But anyways,
they definitely played well in the second half.
Yeah, they made it very interesting. 19-14 with like 2 minutes left. If they just got that stop on third down,
and we said it last week. We said I think none of us were expecting a Jets win. We all pretty much said that, first week with a new coach, new quarterback, new everything, all these injuries, they're probably not going to win this game. But yeah, realistically, if we're going to actually talk about the game, they played decent in the second half. And you hope to see them build upon that in their home opener against New England.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rich?
Obviously biggest news and, upsetting news coming out of the game is Becton going to miss 4 to 6 weeks with the knee injury. Could have been way worse. So, honestly, happy to hear the news that it's only a 4 to 6 weeks. First half looked like, every other Jets game last year, like an Adam Gase coach team. The difference is this year, they actually came out in the second half and, showed some life, made adjustments, didn't just, give up and let the other team run up the score on them the whole game. You guys pretty much covered it all. I don't want to repeat you too much, but that's what you want to see from Coach Saleh, from LaFleur. I know a lot of people were a little upset. They thought they were trying to run the ball too much, but that's the way this offense is going to run. Like, if we're not able to run the ball, it's going to be games like today on Sunday where the offense can't do anything. Third and long, Wilson getting sacked, can't convert third down. That's the way it's going to be. So we got to get the running game going. It's tough that the next 2 weeks are New England and Denver, two more stout front sevens that are, you lose your left tackle. So,
Rich, you want to know what's really funny?
What?
Is during the game we were saying they're just not running the ball enough. They're not running the ball.
Yeah.
Wilson threw 37 times. So it's just funny how some people are saying they didn't run it enough. And
I saw a lot of people saying that in the first half, like LaFleur was being stubborn, kept running the ball when it wasn't working. But I mean, that's like the principles of this offense. Look at the 49ers, like how much they run the ball. And any Shanahan disciple, all these teams, they want to establish the run and they want to be able to, make it easy on the quarterback. I mean, obviously it's different if you have Aaron Rodgers with the other LaFleur. I'm sure they want to pass a little more. We could talk about them later. But they got to get this run game going. But Zach Wilson should not be throwing close to 40 passes a week this early in the season, at least. I was hoping they'd bring him on slowly.
Well, they were down 16 points, so you gotta conserve the clock, throw the ball.
Of course.
But like we said, we're not expecting the Jets to win a bunch of games this year, but have an identity, have a game plan, have a strategy, and I think running the football is a part of that, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Just before we start talking about next week, if you want to do a quick go around, I'm going to give like a quick positive thing that I saw. the young cornerbacks didn't really play as bad as we thought. They actually held their own pretty well, I thought, against a pretty good wide receiver core. And I thought Corey Davis, looked the part of what we all want him to be. So those are two positives that I noticed.
I got a positive. Two,
You got a
fan
smirk
favorites.
on your face. I don't trust you.
No. Two household Jets, two fan favorites. They had a nice play. It was, I think, Sam Darnold hit Robbie Anderson deep down the field.
Oh my God.
I guess maybe in an alternate universe we could have seen that one on in green and white. But hey, shout out to some former Jets.
You really got me.
funny.
You got me.
Yeah. So when it happened, once we saw Sam launch it deep, everyone went, "Oh, that's Robbie, isn't it?" Touchdown, Jets celebration. He wanted that so bad, and Sam can say whatever he wants. It's just another game to me. He after that game he was hyped.
Of course, rightfully so too. I mean, I would be the same way. They traded you away, drafted a new player. Obviously, you want to get that win.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah, I mean, I'll say a positive. In this, given the amount of protection that Zach Wilson had, I think he had a pretty good game. Pretty good second half. He was making some nice throws. He was doing his best to avoid the pressure, which is pretty tough. And even though the Panthers got the win, Darnold still doesn't look all that great. So, maybe we made the right decision there.
Yeah. Igal,
obviously remains to be seen over a long period of time. We're not going to overreact. But yeah.
I mean, listen, if your guy's running all over the field, literally just getting pressured left and right, up the middle, you name it, this guy is just running, and he was doing some nice juking moves, like getting out of, those spots, and that touchdown, the first touchdown pass to Corey Davis, he made a really nice move, and it's a really nice throw. It was nice and accurate. He showed you some flashes, and it's all really you could look at right now, especially for the first game of the year. And like Matt said at the beginning, it gives you a glimmer of hope for the next game.
Yeah.
Fair.
On the subject of Darnold too, I just want to say one thing. He actually was pressured at a really high rate. I know a lot of people think the Jets pass rush didn't look too great, but he was pressured on 33% of his dropbacks, and that's higher than any season average that he had on the Jets. And he was getting the ball out in 2.5 seconds or less on average. So to be pressured at that rate, getting the ball out that quick, he was in pretty much the same situation, offensive line wise, that he was in New York, and he did look better than last year. Game like that, he's throwing for 100 yards and 3 picks. So
yeah, well, it also it really helps to have a guy like Christian McCaffrey there. I mean, they just fed him the ball too. The guy when he's healthy, he's just unstoppable. So
yeah, and you know what? I don't like people that are look, it's not flashy, it's not impressive, but people that are he's just dumping it off to McCaffrey. Don't you want him to do that? That was the problem on the Jets. He would just launch it downfield trying to make a big play. He would never take the check down, never take the easy thing. And when you have a player like McCaffrey who can get the ball 2 yards from the line of scrimmage and, take it 12, 15 yards, that's what you should want him to do. So I don't knock him for that. I mean, you want to see him make some more impressive throws like that one to DJ Moore on the sideline. I think he had a few other ones that were a little impressive, but I don't get on him for dumping it down to one of the best offensive players in the league.
Yeah, you just want to see him make the right play, and dumping it off to your all-world running back is not the wrong play. It might have been with the Jets when your running backs were whoever the hell they were. But with the Panthers, you have an elite option, so you're going to do that.
Yeah. All right. If you want to move on to a little preview for next week. We don't have to spend too much time on it because we want to get to the Giants and all our other stuff. New England coming into town. Rookie versus rookie. Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson. First time.
You guys gonna go to that game?
I wanted to, but I don't know anymore.
I think we just said fuck it.
Yeah, I think we were let's wait.
Football is best viewed from the
home.
Couch.
It is.
Dude, we had a great time. I mean,
when we
sat for 12 hours that whole day.
Yeah, that was a good day.
when we went, one time we went and we like met up with Joe and all them, and we were just drinking from like 8 a.m. till the game started. That was fun. But then you get to the game.
It's fun
and
to go and get fucked up and just have a blast. But in terms of like watching football, you want to sit on the couch, watch Red Zone, watch every game at once, not just one.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Especially
I
like
want
one
it
of
all.
the worst games of the week, probably. You know, 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah,
probably
especially when you're
wouldn't be very
paying
exciting.
money to go watch the New York Jets.
Waste.
That's not always fun.
Yeah. So
um,
yeah, if anyone wants to give a
are
little.
we giving a preview. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, rivalry game, classic rivalry. You want to see it get intense. You want to see the coaches buy into it. And you want to. I mean, the Patriots are no doubt going to be favored. They're not a good team by any means, but they're going to be favored, and you want to see the Jets pull off the upset.
Yeah.
It's 5.5
wanna-
right now in New
if you wanna
England's
get-
favor on the road.
Yeah, if you want, so that's a pretty big advantage. If you want to get Jets fans bought in, beat the Patriots.
Yeah. I mean, that would
Doesn't
be
matter how bad they are.
that would be the ultimate way to get the little sour taste out of your mouth of week 1 is and we did beat the Patriots with Tom Brady in Mark Sanchez's rookie year. Granted, the team was infinitely better around
It was like
Sanchez.
50 years ago.
That
now.
gave us the chance to do that. But it has been done before. Look, Mac Jones is still a rookie. I don't care how. I actually, spoiler alert. I think the Patriots are going to win, but there is a chance here to take advantage of a rookie quarterback, and all these Patriots fans who think that the Patriots can win the division now because they have Mac Jones in there. You need to shut your mouth because it's been 1 week and they're 0-1. And they're coming to fucking East Rutherford, and the Jets are winning. I take it back. I'm picking the Jets.
No, boy.
I'm hyped up, baby. Here we go.
You mentioned it.
Flashbacks of Le'Veon Bell signing.
Oh
Come
gosh,
on.
don't do that.
I think it's flashbacks of this.
I'm worried. Oh, here it is. We're drinking. We're getting all excited. Richard will play it back tomorrow morning and be like, "God damn it, I really picked the Jets." But I think, Rich, you said it earlier about the Patriots and then the Broncos next week. The Pats front seven, with Becton out and the problems are on the rest of the line or the lack of talent there, this could be a really scary game for Zach Wilson. Mac Wilson. I don't like that at all. I don't think that they'll be able to get anything going on offense with the way. And the Pats, I mean, their secondary is not that great with Stephon Gilmore out. They do have J.C. Jackson, who's very good, but I am afraid that it's going to be more of the same from last week with Wilson running for his life. And I think it's going to be an ugly game on both sides because both teams are not very good. You hype up the Pats. People hype up the Pats all they want. They're not very good right now. So I don't know. It's going to be an ugly, slow played game, I think.
Yeah, I mean the Panthers' defensive line is almost as good as you're going to get in this league. Brian Burns, Derek Brown, Hassan Reddick, and they came into their own the second half. The Jets, like we just talked about, and were able to look more comfortable, settle down. So if they can come into this week and build on that, and there's going to be pressure, there's going to be sacks, but maybe give up half the sacks as last week, you give yourself a little more of a chance. Maybe the Patriots defense overall is a bit better than Carolina, but we'll see. So I'm sticking with the Jets. Screw it. Picks. Give you picks.
That's crazy to me.
Do we have to pick this game?
No, you don't have
I
to.
don't want to root against.
I'm
the Jets
scared.
again.
I'm scared.
All right. Don't pick.
We'll save the picks.
Just because you don't know what team's gonna come out that first half or
All right, you're all pussies.
second
It's
half
fine.
team. I just the Patriots didn't look so hot either. They lost.
You sound like a guy who wants to pick the Jets.
I want to pick the Jets every week, but
What's going to happen if you pick the Jets? Someone's
Nothing.
gonna
But,
go back and be like, "Egal, you picked the."
but like, do you
Jets
really
to beat
believe me?
you."
Like, I would pick the Jets every week. So, what do you really think they're gonna go?
Is anyone
16-1 now?
Who's tuning into the live stream and saying, "I'm gonna write down all their picks because I know they'll always be right."
Well, this
Making
isn't
such a homer.
this isn't the pick segment technically. So
That's true. That's
we're
true.
not making picks.
All right.
We can go talk about the shitty Giants.
a
now. We've
realist.
had
Let's
enough
do
of
the
shitty
Giants. Let's do the Giants.
I don't have much to say except that this team stinks, and they've been bad for the past 5 years now. And David Gettleman has done nothing to make the team better. And I mean, that's all I got. I'm not even
feel
going
like
to
he should really get fired.
with
Like,
fucking
I
analysis.
feel like we should. We're really the wrong group to talk about the Giants because we're all just outwardly not a fan of them. So
Hey,
even if they do start to play well, we will be very biased. So
We watched almost the whole game at Eagles because someone wanted to have it on one of the TVs. So
That is true.
admitting my bias, yes, they suck. They will never be good, and I hate
It's tough. It's tough for
it's not
Saquon.
even-
They play Thursday night now. It's going to be tough. Short week coming off that knee injury. He didn't look great against Denver.
like an yak at this game.
what do you have? Like 30 yards, if that. Like,
He has been known to have games like that.
and
Yeah.
Daniel
Like
Jones.
every
I mean,
fucking week with this guy.
Daniel Jones fumbling that ball is an absolute disgrace to the sport of football. How do you not get bet? Why are you diving forward with the ball like that? How do you not know that if you fumble the ball, that the clock is ticking? It's basically at 0 for you.
Yeah,
How are you still fumbling the ball?
I honestly think after last week, how we felt last year after week 1 about the Jets, that's how Giants fans are feeling about the Giants.
It's
Yeah,
just like same old, same old.
Same
Whatever.
old year 3, same old Daniel Jones, still
Didn't the
making
Jets
rookie
lose like
mistakes.
45-3 week 1 last year though?
It was after the first half, Matt. I said,
Yeah,
I
it wasn't- it
will,
was like
I will
35
not watch
nothing.
this football team one more time.
You
It
said
was
that after
bad.
the first 5 minutes of this week, so
Doesn't mean much. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a good-
but glimmer of hope. You
it
heard
looks
what I
so
said.
weird
It hurt.
when I go this way. So I don't know. This week you got Giants Washington on Thursday night. Doesn't look good for the Giants. They really couldn't move the ball. The defense too, surprisingly, did not look good at all. They were letting Teddy Bridgewater carve them up, and their defense was their calling card last year, surprisingly so. And they brought back a lot of the same guys. So I don't know if they were just slow out of the gate and we'll pick it up from here, if they were just flashing the pans last year. But not a great sign week 1 for that defense, where if that defense is not going to keep them in games, and they
Won't
don't
win
have
a game.
anything, they don't have anything on either side of the ball. They're going to be in for a long season. So that's something to keep an eye on, I think, because it should improve a little bit.
yeah. This whole episode has to be taken with grain of salt, whatever you want to call it, as it is week 1. They could go on this week and trounce the football team, and we're all singing a different tune. But as of right now, team
Can
stinks,
See that happen.
quarterback
Can
stinks,
they, though?
offensive line stinks, coach stinks, defense stinks. They all stink, and they'll continue.
And Joe Judge
says a lot
threw
that they're-
challenge flag on
what
a
a-
fucking non-challengeable play. I mean, get it together.
Didn't they get
together.
a time? They cost
They
them a
lost the
timeout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Aren't,
just
aren't the Redskins the fucking football team starting Taylor Heineke,
my camera
And they're
died.
still-
That's good.
Yeah.
and they're still favored by 4.5 points? So
Well, you know how I
3.5.
feel about Heineke. I think that he is better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. So if that means anything, that probably bumped the line more into Washington's favor.
I just don't think that's the case.
Man,
Their
that's what makes
defense
me
is
Ryan
really
nervous.
good.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a veteran in this league. They don't call him Fitzmagic for nothing. They don't call him Hein Magic Tricky.
Heineken.
He's also been on more than half the teams in the NFL. So
Well,
Hey, he's had a
the
long,
Washington
good
the Wa-
career.
Washington
Taylor Heineke
defense-
hasn't done anything.
Washington defense should have their way with the Giants. That's a good defense. I saw it, as the Chargers played them. They held Justin Herbert to 340 yards passing.
that.
Usually he'd have maybe like 450. So, hey, see what happens next week. But I don't expect much better from the Giants.
That's funny.
Enough of New York. Let's talk about some of the actual games that mattered this week in terms
Let's
of
do it.
football teams. I think we should start with the most surprising outcome of the day. Whether you thought that the Saints might beat the Packers or not, 38-3 for the New Orleans Saints. This game just it started out slow for the Packers and it continued to get worse and worse and worse. I was holding out hope that they maybe would be able to turn it around and keep it competitive, and it just kept snowballing.
Yeah.
I mean, how much do you guys take away from a game like this where it seemingly nothing went right for the Packers, who obviously have very high expectations?
I honestly, I have a lot of feelings about this game after this whole offseason where, Aaron Rodgers is, big dick posturing. He's not going to play another game for the Packers. They're in a big standoff. Basically, Aaron Rodgers is making the Packers bend the knee to him and succumb to every last want that he has. And then they come in and they play a New Orleans Saints team that just had their legendary quarterback Drew Brees retire. They're looking like they're going into rebuild mode, basically. Say what you want about Jameis and whatever you think he's going to be.
We will say what we want about Jameis very shortly.
but this isn't the same. This isn't the same old Saints team. It's a new chapter for them. And you expect the Packers to come in and win. They're bringing back a lot of the same players that they had last year. They made a deep playoff run, and they just get the doors blown absolutely off of them by Jameis fucking Winston, who has barely played a game in the last 2 years. He's been sitting on the bench. And then in the post-game press conference, you have Aaron Rodgers saying, and he's right, it's just one game, but such a smug attitude after all the controversy that was stirred up this offseason by him to eventually come back to the same place, which is the Packers. I have no doubt that they'll be a fine team, maybe a playoff team, probably a playoff team, given that they have Aaron Rodgers, but they're just always slightly below expectations to me. And people, like to talk about Aaron Rodgers like he's an all-time great, and he is, but when is he going to put his money where his mouth is and go out and, rattle off a few championships like Tom Brady does?
So you can say whatever you want about Aaron Rodgers' personality off the field. I don't really, a lot of people share that opinion. I don't know how much the offseason circus show really translates onto the field. I don't think that this is what you're going to get from Aaron Rodgers this year. He played like shit. And, if he came out and they won the game and everything was fine, you would still have all those opinions that you have about Aaron Rodgers because of how the offseason went. So I don't know if those are two things that one didn't lead to the other. I think the team just wasn't prepared. They didn't even show up. I don't know what they had 3 new starters on the offensive line. The defense was obviously terrible. Rodgers did absolutely nothing to help his cause. He was throwing terrible interceptions. But I mean, I think it's an easy thing to fall back and place the blame on the offseason and all of that, whatever drama that was going on, whether it was created by Aaron or whether it wasn't. At the end of the day, this is still, I think that this, like he said, it is one game. I think it's still going to be a team that they play Detroit on Monday. They're going to win by probably 20 points. And I think this will all be forgotten very quickly. But I think there are some glaring weaknesses on the team that were exposed by the Saints that might be worth keeping an eye on. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to play like that the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't either. And sorry, I know you guys want to give your take on the game, but
by all means,
it's just I feel like for so many years now, this has just been almost like an unhealthy relationship between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And it says something that he's so good that he's able to, still play so well and that they make the playoffs and they make deep playoff runs every year. But I just feel like, and maybe this is like the overreaction Monday in me, but when I think about teams that are going to make it out of the NFC, I don't consider the Packers ever, and that's sad considering that Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback.
They went to back-to-back NFC Championship games. My point is that like all that stuff off the field might be true, but we haven't never seen it translate onto the field and be a problem. So maybe it starts to be a problem, but like the team has been to back-to-back NFC Championship games.
Yeah, they're always good.
So whatever drama
and
a lot
bullshit,
of talent. So whatever like Rodgers is doing off the field, this is the first time it's actually been like, oh, that's happening, and now look, you're playing like shit. So now we can talk about it.
I know it's hard to win a Super Bowl, but I don't know. For all the hype that Rodgers gets, people call him the greatest of all time, and he has one Super Bowl. It's kind of disappointing, and it's disappointing for Green Bay as an organization, considering all the talent that they've had. They're just looked at as a pristine organization, class of the league, and one ring.
So they lost a game. We're talking about Saints Packers.
I've thought this. I've had this take for years.
I know. Everybody has it. It's not a take that he's won one Super Bowl. He has won one Super Bowl, and that sucks. But I mean,
I just hate the smug attitude and the people bowing down to him, calling him the GOAT, and it's like, where are your rings? You don't see Tom Brady acting like this, and he has 7 of them.
I understand, but how are you going to say all of this after coming off an MVP season?
He has all the personal accolades, the individual accolades that you could ever want,
that make him a great quarterback in the league. He's so unique. Like there's literally
so unique about him.
There's not another quarterback like him. That's what
Mahomes does. Everything he does and more.
Okay, but for at least his time, like however many years ago.
Before Mahomes,
I'm just not a fan.
Before Mahomes was in the league. Before Mahomes became Mahomes.
All he honestly, for sure, his on the field regimen is there. There's pretty much nobody that can measure up to it. I'm tired of just the bitching and moaning between Packers fans and the Packers organization and Aaron Rodgers. Just like, why didn't you guys go your separate ways years ago, and we didn't have to hear all this fucking crying out of you?
Yeah, Alex, I'm someone who's had a similar take on that front. I know we're supposed to be talking about like this previous game, but since it's been brought up now, like him complaining about like all the stuff from weapons to the way the team's built, this and that, not bringing back players that he likes, and especially after last season when he had one of the best seasons of his career and they went to the NFC Championship and lost. I mean, you can say LaFleur not going for it, or you can say Rodgers making a bad decision on third down, not running the ball into the end zone, whatever you want to go for. It just feels weird to me that like they're always a great team. He always puts up numbers, and they're never losing because of lack of talent. Like I don't know what the problem is, and I don't know if it's just he really wants to be out of there and pull a Brady and like go to a fun place like Tampa or like a better city to like end of his career, just like have fun and like get a change of scenery. I don't know what it is, but I don't like the way it's been, talked about in the media and all that either. I think if he really wanted out of there for this long, should have gotten it done. I don't know.
It just seems like for the past decade, we've just been hearing, wah, I hate the Packers. You don't do enough for me. You don't have the coach that I like. You don't have the players that I like. Wah. It's like, okay, then go somewhere else.
And like, what's so funny is
him and Matt Packers have a great relationship, though.
Yeah. The Packers
then
have been known.
What was the problem this past offseason?
I mean, that's
you didn't have Randall Cobb on the team?
Conversation. He doesn't like
Randall Cobb is on the team, actually.
He doesn't like the owner, the management.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, I don't know.
It's just the way
I
that
think
they've
we need
been
a
running
whole
this
eulogy of the
organization.
Packers organization and like a retrospective of Rodgers' career. I think that it's just like they're playing together one last season. Whatever happens, happens. They're still a very good team, then they'll go their separate ways. I'm more concerned about what the fuck happened on Sunday and if that's what we're going to see from this team moving forward, because every facet of the game was horrible from the start.
But honestly, I think
But
it was
you know
more.
Sorry.
I think it was more the Saints outplaying them than Aaron Rodgers just, fucking up. I just think the Saints and Jameis Winston, they all just put on a show. They put on a great game.
It
And
seemed like the Saints were more focused.
yeah, for sure.
Like,
Absolutely. And they were also, as much as I want to hail Jameis Winston as, this 5 touchdowns, 0 picks MVP candidate that he had, they were getting short fields on every possession.
Threw for like 148 yards.
Yeah, I think the defense really was the one they
55 of those yards were on his last touchdown that he threw. I think he threw a 55-yard touchdown, which is probably the best touchdown of the day, 55 yards. But I mean,
yeah, I think it was just your classic, like the offense could get nothing going, so the defense was on the field the whole game, kept having to go back out there. They were getting shredded, and then every time Rodgers had the ball, it was 3 and outs, it was interceptions, it was, they just weren't able to get anything going. It's just surprising that they came out that flat, and I don't really know what to make of it.
I mean, I don't think it's that surprising considering the offseason they had. But anyway, what you were saying before is what is going to happen. Is this the Packers that we're going to get? Probably not. I feel like this happens all the time. They start out a little slow. People are speculating, is Aaron Rodgers done? Is this and that? And then he rattles off like an amazing stretch where, he gets back into the MVP race and people are like, oh, it's Aaron Rodgers of old and the Packers are good again. And then inevitably they lose at some point in the playoffs, and then the crying off season starts again, and it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, I don't think
I really like the Packers, if you guys couldn't tell.
I don't think this is what they're going to look like the whole year at all. If anything, I think Rodgers is going to want to absolutely dominate next week. And
For
they're
sure.
going to shred the Lions.
Probably will.
Because he's the type of guy that he hates shit like this. Us getting on here and being like, what the fuck's wrong with him? Roasting him for this and that. And I feel like that bothers him more than it probably should. Not saying he's tuning into us saying it. Just, the national media is probably...
Hi, Aaron.
Pretty sure he watches.
I mean, we do go live now. It's possible he can stumble across us on YouTube. I don't know. I think they'll win their division and they'll be fine.
And the whole division lost, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Saints are the ones I think who we should really be saying, is this what they are? Are they the no turnover Jameis Winston blowing out the best teams in the league, or did they just catch the Packers on a day where they were all sleeping and they're maybe they could be a good team, but they're not this dominant force that they came across as in week 1. I think Jameis Winston played pretty bad, given. I'm kidding.
Okay, watch it there.
I don't know. What do you got?
Did you hear what he had to say in the offseason?
What? That he couldn't see?
That interview? When he
Jameis?
spoke so eloquently.
Oh,
He was literally Aristotle.
The guy's locked in, man. This is a new Jameis Winston, and I've been trying to tell you, Richard, for the past 6 months.
That's such a
He
funny
really
tweet.
has.
I mean, would you,
And he really want to start.
what would you have, yeah, that's funny. What would you have said if I told you Jameis Winston's first game as a starting quarterback for the Saints, he'd have 5 touchdowns and 0 picks?
Okay, I'd say what happened the next game.
Did
he throw no touchdowns and 5 picks? Because
so you're gonna keep pushing it back a week until he has
Look,
one interception.
I told you, I'm not surprised that he can throw the deep ball. I'm not surprised he can put up yards. I'm not surprised he can have a good game. When I want to see him slicing and dicing the defense up and down the field, long drives, sustained success over an entire season. That's his biggest problem, is consistency. Not one game. We've seen him go up. He threw for 5,000 yards in a season. He threw for 30-something touchdowns. He also threw for 30 picks.
0 picks.
Is that the first time in his career he's thrown 0 picks?
It's his first time in his Saints career. That's all that I'm looking at. We look forward
He
here
should have
with
thrown.
our
He
LASIK
should
covered
have
eye.
actually. He did throw an interception, and there was some bullshit call, wasn't there?
Yep, I remember that.
There was a penalty. I don't
Yeah,
know about
but
a
he
bullshit call.
It had nothing
It
to
was
do with the play. He
garbage.
threw a pick.
This is Jameis Winston we're talking about. He's
Gonna
gonna throw
throw picks.
interceptions.
I hope that
It's
wasn't
just
even the
amazing to
argument.
me.
My argument was he's not going to play better because he got his eyes fixed. That was not the problem. The problem is he was making poor decisions and I don't think he was coached well enough and didn't know I think he needed that. I think what was more important was him sitting down
he was
for a
coached
year.
well enough by Super Bowl winning coach Bruce Arians.
He had him for 1 year. And then he shipped him off because they got Tom Brady. He probably wasn't sold on him at all from the beginning. I think what he
joking. I agree
really
with you.
needed over the LASIK eye surgery, which maybe he could see a little better now. He needed to sit down on the bench and watch Drew Brees and Sean Payton and how they operate and how a franchise like that operates. Franchise legendary Super Bowl winning quarterback and a franchise legendary Super Bowl winning coach. Learn the system, buy in, know what he has to improve on, and that's why he got better.
Get those
Okay, did you
level-headed
not
pigs
know
out of
that
here.
all of those places, all those things were in place before Sunday? He
But-
had sat behind Drew Brees. He had
Richard
Sean
is
Payton.
very
He
committed
knew
to
all of
not
this.
liking what's going to
I
happen.
was
You're
saying
gonna credit Drew Brees for Jameis Winston's game?
no.
That's what you're doing?
The initial argument was that it was not the eyes. He wasn't bad because of his eyes.
He wasn't throwing deep balls on Sunday. He was every time they had the ball, it was a short field, and he was just picking them apart in the end
And
zone.
Alvin Kamara was shredding them on the ground.
Alvin Kamara.
He had a great game.
Good.
Jameis Winston played great. I hope he plays
That's
great
all.
like that for the rest of
That's
the year.
all.
I want to see
No, you do not.
consistency.
No, you do not.
I'm not rooting against him. I'm rooting against you.
Which is rooting against him because we are one.
No. It's different. I just wanted my whole point was that he wasn't bad because he had blurry vision, exaggerating idiot.
It seems like early returns are that's wrong. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But what a game, Jameis! Hats off to you. Let's move on now, I guess, since we've been talking about that for a while. It's getting late here.
Yeah, we're running 42 minutes now, so that's not that long.
Let's do Chiefs Browns, I think, and then we can get into our picks.
Yeah.
I do also have one team overreaction that we don't have to talk in depth about it, but I want to say one thing about one team after this before we get to the picks.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, Chiefs Browns. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. That's just, I guess, the extent of my analysis of this game. They literally don't turn it on until that they're down 10, and Mahomes needs that to feel something, just to get going and have fun. And they just flip the switch and they throw a 75-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill. They get a big stop on defense, and then they win the game. I mean, as well as the Browns played in the first half, and as well as that offense looked with both running backs playing well, Baker, they were leading the whole first half. It's just so hard to beat the Chiefs. I don't know. What do you guys have?
It's pretty funny. As much as people like to hype up the Chiefs as if they're unbeatable, they do have this tendency to kind of play down to their competition. I just find that interesting, but yeah, I mean,
they
same
do,
old
and
Chiefs.
then they just say all right, let's go win now. Then they win.
And then they do it.
Michael Kornfeld in the live chat said Tyreek, so whatever that means.
Oh,
Yo,
thank you for
that pass,
contribution.
that 75-yard
nice.
touchdown pass to Tyreek
Fuck
was
it.
the most
Tyreek's down there
insane-
somewhere. He said it after the game.
How
It's
how do you
ridiculous.
find him? I remember watching that live. I was like, "What are you throwing it to, guy?"
Did
And
you
then
see
just
Did you see
Oh
what
my.
Mahomes said after the game?
Yeah, I saw that.
They were like, "How do you feel about people the meme that fuck it, Tyreek's down there somewhere?" And he would laugh, and he was like, "It is like that." Sometimes
He said he couldn't see Tyreek Hill. He just saw his hand up in the air, and he was like, "I'm throwing."
And he just chucks it right on target too.
Yeah.
It's
Guys,
amazing.
But I mean, if we're gonna talk about the game, my takeaway from it is I think the Browns can run with them. They looked like they have. Obviously, there's a big discrepancy at quarterback there, Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes. But I think they're similarly talented teams. I think the Browns probably have the better defense, and the punter doesn't drop the fucking ball in the Chiefs 10-yard line. Might be a different game. I think the Browns did. They had to put just one good drive together at the end there and kind of put it away, and they never could. But what I took away from it was, the Chiefs probably still better, but I think the Browns can beat them. Like they just need
Really
that
good.
one
the
Sunday
Browns,
where
they look like a good
the
team.
ball
Nick
bounces their
Chubb,
way,
Yeah.
Chubb looked unstoppable.
And they didn't have Odell.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Browns looked really good. I'd be excited. And last year in the playoffs too, they almost beat the Chiefs. So they can hang with them. It's just going to come down to finishing the game at the end, which they obviously have to work on. So we'll see if we see that matchup again, how it plays out. But I like Cleveland here. I didn't really get down on them after this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had in my picks I had the Chiefs -6.5, and I thought that the Browns are going to need some time to get up to speed, given they have a lot of new faces on defense, but they look as good as last year, if not better. So that's exciting because they were a good team last year. Probably, in my opinion, the front runner in the AFC North. So that's pretty exciting. And Baker looked really good. Baker looked like he had a little more zip on his passes. He was a little more accurate than usual. So that's exciting too. You want to see him take that next step.
I think a game like this, when you need that game clinching drive, is when you need someone like I said before, you need Odell on those crucial plays, someone who can get open, reliable receiver, game breaking guy. I mean, obviously we're wondering if he'll be that same guy because he's coming off an injury and now he missed week 1 because of it, but if he comes back and he's the Odell we know, hopefully that gives them that extra element.
They could use a really good tight end.
I think didn't Njoku play pretty well?
He did. He had 3 receptions for 76 yards.
But he ain't a really good tight end.
Yeah,
He's good.
He's not a safety blanket.
Yeah, there's just not much opportunities for him, I guess. You got Jarvis, you got Nick Chubb, you got Hunt, you got Odell when he comes back. They have a few other receivers, young guys that played pretty well the other day. They have Egal,
Corey Coleman,
best tight end.
Did they still have Hoopit?
Yeah, Austin Hooper had a good game.
Yeah,
decent.
So I think we're gonna see these teams play once again in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and I'm ready for that game. I'm ready again.
That'd be fun. They always play fun games.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Chiefs still look unstoppable. So we'll see how that goes throughout the season.
All right. So we're moving
What's
on.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about, Rich?
No,
what do you got?
Here's my over. I don't know if anyone else wants to give a funny overreaction from the week. The Philadelphia Eagles are winning the NFC East. That is my week 1 over. Look,
I think the Falcons might be the worst team in the NFL. How about that?
that's a good argument.
I think Vegas agrees with you.
Vegas, big time.
Look.
Why? What happened?
Vegas is the best team in the league.
They're dogs by 12.5 this week.
Yeah, he meant betting Vegas.
Oh.
No. So look,
You're like the Raiders.
The Raiders, best team in the league.
They got a solid defense. They got some good pass rushers. They have a young, fast offense and an underratedly really good O-line now that all those guys are back from injury last year. They have,
They play in the NFC East.
They play in the NFC
you probably
East.
only have to win 8 games to win the division.
Devontae Smith looked pretty good. Jalen Rager, coming into his own. They have some really fast receivers. They have a good, a versatile running back in Miles Sanders. Jalen Hurts obviously can run the ball. I think they're going to be a sneak to win the NFC East.
Who was the guy that Matt thought?
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Matt thought
he's still on the team.
He should have been awarded.
He started
$20 million by the NFL.
I'm pretty sure he
Still on the
started.
team. Well, we'll see. Dallas looked really good, and the Eagles
Yeah.
play San Francisco this week, so I think we'll find out a lot more than the Atlanta Falcons provided. But hey, I mean, that is the flavor right now. People are very high on Philadelphia after that performance. Jalen Hurts looked very good.
He did. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside had no statistics in the game, so
He's not. He's
Didn't
not
even
a. He's
run
not
a
a.
route.
he's not a stat guy.
He's not a stat guy. It's the intangibles with him.
Big
But yeah,
blocking
that's
receiver.
my week one overreaction. Philadelphia Eagles win the NFC East. That's it.
Okay, I
We
like
can
it.
move on.
You know what
I
a
like
hot
it. I like
take is, Richard?
It's
kind of hot. Cowboy-
Everyone thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL.
That is true.
Really?
People were shitting on them
Yeah.
all offseason after the whole
Not me. I
Doug-
know everything.
the whole Doug Peterson fiasco. The whole everyone thought the head coach was weird because he had a bad press conference. No one has confidence in Jalen Hurts. And everyone was like, "Is they're skilled players? Are they? They're not proven." The whole line was injured last year, so everyone was pretty down on them. And I think people just hate Philly and everything. So
Yeah,
Trash
rightfully
city.
so. All right, let's get into the picks here. We have a new
one
wrinkle.
more. Joe Flacco. Okay.
We have a new wrinkle to introduce for the picks. We weren't able to address it last week because things were kind of up in the air in terms of how it would unfold. So what we're going to do, we gave our picks to you guys all. We're going to continue to do that. We all have our picks. We're going to call on to you guys, the audience, to one lucky fan each week will call in, or in terms of today, because it's midnight already, we're just going to read off the picks from the fan. One fan will select games with us or against us. They'll take the 2 games of the week and then provide their own 2 games with spreads. So that way we're able to engage with the audience a little bit. At the end of the year, if the fans' record is better than all of us, or I guess even if whoever one of us is worse than the fans' record, we can come up with a little type of punishment like we've been doing, just to give back to the audience.
Yeah, give them an incentive to keep going.
Yeah. So I guess we should just start and get the fan out of the way now since he's not with us. This is a friend of the show, Marco Moya, has chimed in with his picks for week 2. Do want to mention also Michael Kornfeld for week 1, even though it wasn't said on the air. He went 1-3 in his picks. So the fans are actually starting off in last place in this competition. Kornfeld did no favors to the listening audience here, but hopefully Marco favors a little bit well. Our 2 games of the week are the Cowboys and the Chargers, and then the Chiefs and the Ravens. Marco's going Cowboys and Chiefs for those games. And then he's also taking Rams -4 against the Colts and Saints -3.5 against the Panthers. So those are your fan picks of the week. Who wants to start us off with the game of the week? We'll start with Cowboys versus Chargers.
Do we want to talk about the other new wrinkle of the double down, or do we want to get to that because that?
We'll do that when Alex does.
When it happens. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the first game that we're picking?
We'll do Cowboys in Los Angeles against the Chargers.
Okay. Egal, I want you to go first.
Want me to go first. All right. So I took the Cowboys to win this game, not knocking Justin Herbert or anything like that. I really liked them, and I like, what I saw out of them that first game, especially they did come back. They bounced back a little bit. It looked a little shaky at first, and they look good, but I don't know. The Cowboys and Dak Prescott just really lit it up. I know it was against the Super Bowl winning Buccaneers, but besides all that, they look good. Like Zeke looked all right. Dak Prescott, he really has some fucking zip on that ball again. And yeah, so I have the Cowboys for the first game.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Chargers this week. I thought they put up a pretty decent performance against a really good defense in the Washington football team. Justin Herbert, looking as sharp as ever, coming off of a stellar rookie season. La'el Collins is suspended, so that Chargers pass rush with Mr. Bosa is going to be getting to Dak all day. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to definitely be one of the best games of the week. 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the league going at it. I just like the Chargers in this one, so I'm going with the Chargers. I think this is they're going to have a good start to the year here.
Yeah, I'm with you, Richard. I'm taking the Chargers as well. That Chargers offensive line really held up well against the Washington football team pass rush, which is a tall order. And couple that with the great quarterback play of Justin Herbert. I don't see the Cowboys defense doing much to stop them. Yeah, I'll take the Chargers at home.
Well, I went back and forth a lot with this game. And I will be taking the Chargers also. I don't know if you guys noticed I got on here. It's a little 1-0 undefeated jersey here. No big deal. I'm going the Chargers as well, so that leaves with 3 Chargers and 1 Cowboys. Egal, how do you feel about that?
I like it.
Okay.
2 Cowboys. Got the fan.
Oh, the fan. That's right. You and Marco. Yeah, I think I was worried about the Washington game because of that defense. Obviously, is like one of the best units in the league. For Herbert to throw 340 yards against that team and really not be under any pressure, I think bodes extremely well for the season. So obviously, we know the Cowboys defense still is not very good. It's improved possibly, but Brady was able to do whatever he wants as well. People are saying there are a lot of similarities between Brady and Herbert. I'm not one of those people, but it's out there. So I do think that Herbert will have some success. And I think that it will be a shootout. Like I think Richard said, I think it's going to be really high scoring. But I think the Chargers will squeak it out at the end.
All right. So we got 1 Cowboy and 3 Chargers.
Second game of the week.
Chargers, go.
Second game of the week, we have the Kansas City Chiefs in Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. That is the Sunday night game. Really the marquee matchup, one of the marquee matchups of the season, I would say. And I think I know where we lie here after that crazy Ravens game last night. First of all, insane game. One of the craziest overtimes I've ever seen. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'll leave it at that.
All right. I think this is a good time to intro our second wrinkle to the pick segment. So as everyone knows, we usually do 2 straight up picks for the 2 games of the week and 2 of our own handpicked by each of us spread picks. So I asked earlier, are we allowed to pick the spread for one of the games of the week? And what we came to the conclusion that you can do it at your own risk, basically. So we'll call it something like double jeopardy. And I can take the spread in this game, and whoever I take has to cover the spread. If they do that, then it counts as 2 wins. And if they don't cover the spread, then it counts as 2 losses. So it's kind of like a double or nothing kind of thing. So I don't know if that was a good enough explanation, but you get the idea.
Sense. You're putting all your eggs in one basket here. If you really like this team, that'd be game of the week.
Yeah. So I'm taking the Chiefs -3.5 against the Ravens, double or nothing. I thought the Ravens really looked terrible against the Raiders. Their offensive line was atrocious. They did not give Lamar any time to throw the ball. That, and also I just don't think Greg Roman has enough has a good enough scheme there to overcome something like a bad offensive line. Not enough quick throws, not enough first read and just first second read, hit your guy. It looks very clunky. It looks like it's constantly Lamar Jackson running for his life. I don't think they will struggle to put up points against the Chiefs. But given that their defense isn't that great, but on the defensive side of the ball, their secondary just looked absolutely horrible. Letting
really bad.
Yeah, letting Derek Carr make some unbelievable throws. They were good throws, but on some of those plays, like especially the one in overtime, They just completely let that receiver go straight over the top, no one covering him. And that's just not going to fly against Patrick Mahomes. And that throw where Derek Carr was on his back foot and just, tossed it up there. It was a good throw, but the cornerback just did not even try to make a play on the ball. He looked like a JV player. So I think Patty Mahomes is just going to tear them up. Hopefully, he doesn't play down to his competition like he does have. The Chiefs do have a tendency to do, but I think they'll be able to cover a 3.5 point spread.
On that last play you're talking about, I mean, Derek Carr tore them up either way, so it's still a problem. They showed in the replay that the Ravens defenders ran into each other, and that's why the guy was running free downfield. So he really had no shot of covering him.
Well, don't run into each other.
Yeah, don't.
No, I'm just saying because you're saying it looked like he gave up and had no chance. Like he just couldn't.
No, that's not what I meant. I just meant it was a completely blown coverage.
Oh, okay.
I think Patty Mahomes will be able to make that throw. Not sure though.
All right.
So give me the Chiefs -3.5. Double and
first
nothing.
Double jeopardy of the season. I like it. It's a good one because we've seen the Chiefs Ravens match up before for the past couple of years and always ends the same way.
All right, Egal.
Is it usually close or is it usually a blowout?
No, it's always the Chiefs are just up 21-3 in the first half, and the Ravens, when they fall behind, they can't come back. So I like that pick.
So for me, I'm also obviously going to take the Chiefs. But funny enough, I just betting in the past. Whenever I see such an obvious line, 3.5 points after the Chiefs just came all the way back against the Browns and the Ravens just blew it against the Raiders, that just seems so obvious to me. So I feel like Vegas is setting you up for something over there. I'm not touching it. All I'm saying here is it's just a very interesting line to me. 3.5 points just doesn't seem like a lot.
No,
it is in Baltimore.
And I know that, but still 3.5 points for the Chiefs, they could cover that in their sleep. So I don't know. That's all I'm saying is just I'm going to keep an eye out for that game. I think it might be a lot closer than you guys are saying.
Rich?
Fair.
Taking this Chiefs. No need to explain.
Fair enough. We spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get into our spread games. For the interest of time, we could try to keep it quick like Richard just did there very eloquently.
Yeah.
Who wants to start us off?
All right. I'm going to go first. I'm going to pick my first game. The Broncos are -6 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville just got absolutely trounced
on the road
by Houston. The O-line in Jacksonville and their defense is just horrendous. I feel for Trevor Lawrence over there, and they just don't look ready with Urban Meyer as the coach. I think they're going to struggle for a while this year. Maybe turn it around towards the end of the season, get into the flow. But I'm going. I think the Broncos handle them pretty well here, and give me Broncos -6 in Jacksonville, like you said.
Okay, I'll go. I like the Cincinnati Bengals getting 3 points against the Chicago Bears. It's in Chicago, but the Bengals offense looks really good. I think Joe Burrow is filthy. He came back from that ACL injury, and I said to Richard, every time he gets hit, it's scary because you don't know how healthy he is, and you don't want him to get hurt again because that offensive line still has a long way to go. But with Jamar Chase on the field, T. Higgins also another very good receiver. Joe Mixon, he always seems to produce very consistent numbers. So they are able to do it in the air and on the ground. Their defense obviously leaves a lot to be desired, but I don't think Andy Dalton and the Bears offense is going to be a team to exploit that very much. I think the Bengals are going to win this outright, but I'll gladly take 3 points with the spread.
I think for my first game, I'm going to also go with Marco and take the Rams -4. Just after that what was it, Monday or Sunday night game?
Football.
Sunday night football game. They just really looked dominant. Matt Stafford really just looked comfortable in that, that West Coast kind of offense. And yeah, I just think against the Colts didn't really look too good. I know they have like a decent defense, but
I was
um,
thinking about this. I don't mean to cut you off. Just I guess I had to say it to somebody because I just realized I don't remember seeing a single Colts offensive play on red zone. I didn't
No.
see Carson Wentz in a Colts jersey. Like, I don't have that image.
I
What
remember
happened?
you weren't looking for one of them when I went. I was like, Matt, you have Wentz, and then you were like, yeah, and then I was like, he just threw a touchdown, but they
Oh, okay, that makes
they were
sense.
already
two TDs. He went
Yeah.
25 for 38, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He had a good fantasy.
Look
though.
at this Bud Light seltzer flavor.
Toasted
Toasted
marshmallow.
marshmallow.
Yeah, it's
What
actually
the fuck?
it's like the holiday season one. I'm trying to get it in focus here, but it's not going. But it's like the holiday season one.
Hey, no free promo.
It sounds good.
It actually is pretty good. I don't mind it.
Interesting. All right. Speaking of
Yeah.
marshmallows, I'm taking. This has nothing to do with marshmallows.
I was gonna say I'm hoping this is a good one.
I'm taking the Cardinals -4.5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Cardinals had a very impressive showing in Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Blew the doors off them, and the Vikings lost to Cincinnati, who I like the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow. I like what they've got over there. But if you told me the Bengals were going to beat the Vikings, maybe not the boldest prediction in the world, but I would have been like, eh. But I don't think the Vikings are that good of a team, and I think the Cardinals are coming to play this year. They have a really good defense, really good front seven that I think is going to cause some problems for Kirk Cousins. So I'll take the Cardinals to cover 4.5 points.
All right, are we sticking with round robin? So back to Egal because Alex already did his second one.
Well, I'm with Alex on that second pick.
Okay.
I agree with what he went with there. I'm taking the Cardinals as well. Vikings defense is going to get shredded.
So I guess we're going to bounce it back to me. So for my second game, I took the Bills -3.5. I just think that they're just going to bounce back from this. The Steelers, really tough team, tough defense. And honestly, the Dolphins didn't look all that great. I thought Tua looked okay, but not that, future franchise quarterback. I just didn't see that. So, yeah, I think this is the bounce back game for the Bills. They go 1-1.
The Dolphins just have
-3.5.
Dolphins just have a
-3.5.
super good secondary. That's why I think they'll always be able to, stay in games. All right, back to me. I'm finally, after, Matt was, roasting me all week because I was saying about the Browns, I would have picked them, and he was like, you didn't even pick them in your spread. This isn't the Browns, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is from the beginning of the show. Jets +5.5 against New England.
I like you
at
sticking
home.
to your convictions.
I'm sticking with it.
Wow.
And the Jets are going to blow everyone's minds and only lose by less than 5.5. No, they're going to win outright, but that's what, you pick it with the spread, doesn't matter. So that's my second pick. To all my Jets fans out there, that was for you. Let's do it.
Let's get Richard drinking every podcast. We won't have to worry about him winning shit.
He's talking the Jets are going to win the game outright, not just the 5 points earlier.
Yeah, well, that's why you picked them in the spread.
That's going to be next week's
Take the
wrinkle
points, take
is
the points.
Yeah.
Richard's bottle of Jack is picking.
Toast.
I don't hate the 5.5, honestly. The Pats aren't going to score.
Yeah.
But, neither are the Jets. They're not going to score the football.
Be like
They'll score.
13-10.
Listen, I hope, man, but
All right. I'm a bigger believer than you, Mr. Scream at Me, for rooting for McCaffrey.
Mr.
Yo.
School.
All right.
Closing
Very,
remarks?
very, bumpy road to get ourselves here in this live stream. I think we found the setup. I was trying to do too much. That's what I saw on YouTube was you got to bring in people through Skype, this and that. If I can just, put the Zoom window behind this border, I'm just going to do that for now. This is an off-air discussion, so it doesn't matter. But we made it this far. If you made it this far in the show, I know Cordfeld has been watching the entire time. He was writing in the chat. So thank you, Michael,
bro.
for tuning into our first ever live session. Hopefully in the future we can get started earlier so we can get more people in here. bring people on live for the picks. That's what our goal is for the fan picks to be done live on the show. And any closing remarks from you guys? No. All right. Enjoy your second week of NFL football. I hope it's just as fun and even better than the first week. And we'll see you next time on the Memo.